Hi, this is Steve from Decware. Every week I sit down here and talk about Decware, where it came from, how things work, and why certain decisions were made. Sometimes it's about a circuit. Sometimes it's about philosophy. Sometimes it's just a story. Today I want to talk about something a little different, but still very much part of this journey. Recently I jumped online and ultimately got sidetracked reading some vile posts about our company. Not surprisingly, they were coming from the DIY audio world. I had almost forgotten that there are so many forums with so much passion.
The RCA manual clearly states the 6L6 should be run in Class A. See? I told you I was right. Are you serious? The 6SN7Y clearly has better transconductance. Read the data sheet before you spread misinformation. Sense. Absolute nonsense. The 1968 edition confirms it. Learn your history before you post.
Look, Deckware didn't happen overnight. It wasn't a trend. It wasn't a marketing plan. It was one amplifier, then another, built, shipped, supported, repaired, improved. Fast forward a few decades, and we've hand-built well over 10,000 amplifiers, all with a lifetime warranty, all still supported. That's the context most discussions should start with, but often don't. From time to time, I'll see comments or posts online that criticize what we do here. Most of it is harmless, some of it is thoughtful, and a small percentage, maybe 10%, is, well, something else. It's not coming from ownership, it's not coming from long-term use, and very often, it's not coming from accurate information. Here's something I think is important to talk about. There are a lot of very smart hobbyist builders out there. I respect that. Everyone who builds their first amplifier is part of the same lineage. But there's a difference between building a few amps for yourself and building thousands for other people. When you build at scale, reality shows up. You learn what fails. You learn what customers actually live with. You learn what works, not just on the bench, but in homes, for decades. You also learn humility, because you can't hide from your own designs when you're the one standing behind them for life. What I sometimes see is someone who's built maybe a dozen amplifiers, and that's fine, placing themselves in judgment over work that's been in continuous production for decades, not based on ownership. Not based on listening, not based on customer outcomes, just opinion. And here's the thing, opinion is easy. Accountability is hard. Deckware amplifiers have received stereophile Class A ratings. They've been reviewed by many of the most respected names in audio journalism. Those reviews didn't happen because of hype or by our request. They happened because the products held up to listening, to scrutiny, and to time. That doesn't make them perfect, but it does make them real. Some criticism is simply based on misunderstanding how a circuit is intended to operate. Some of it is outdated. And yes, occasionally some looks like resent. That doesn't bother me. It just tells me more about where the comment is coming from. People sometimes ask why I don't respond to this stuff more often. The answer is simple. The work is already out there. Thousands of owners, decades of use, real systems, real rooms, real listening. That's a harder thing to argue with than a comment section. I'll keep doing what I've always done, designing, building, listening, and standing behind the work. If you've owned our gear and have questions, I'm here. If you're genuinely curious, I'm happy to explain. And if you're just making noise, well, the amplifiers will keep playing regardless. Thanks for listening and for your understanding and 30 years of support.